Some hotels hide secrets in their walls, but in this case, the room hides itself. Riverside Inn was built in 1961, a modest 3-story hotel near the Bitterroot Mountains in Montana. Nothing fancy, just a stopover for truckers, hikers, and the occasional tourist passing through. It had 40 rooms, and according to the floor plans, room 313 did not exist. But on the night of November 4th, something changed. Around 8:42 p.m., a man entered the lobby. He was quiet, polite, and carried no luggage. He said he had a reservation for room 313. The receptionist, Molly, laughed at first, thinking it was a prank. "Sir, we don't have a room 313. We skipped that number entirely," but the man insisted. He even showed her a confirmation email clearly marked, "Riverside Inn Room 313 One Night Stay." Confused, Molly called her supervisor, who confirmed again no such room was available for booking. They offered him a free night in room 312. He declined, smiled, and walked out. 30 minutes later, the system pinged. A digital check-in for room 313. There were no keys issued, no credit card swiped, no door access logged, yet the system showed the room as occupied. That night, the cleaning staff heard footsteps above the second floor, specifically over room 213, which should have been room 313. But that space, according to every blueprint and maintenance log, was nothing but a wall and a maintenance crawl space. When security checked the hallway, they found something even stranger. The hallway camera positioned directly outside where room 313 would be had glitched at exactly 3:13 a.m. Just for 5 seconds, just enough to catch a door closing. They say hotels are built for guests, but what if one guest never left? Or worse, what if the room is the guest? If the room was the guest, then who had been checking in? 3 days after the strange digital check-in for room 313, a new employee named Jordan started working the night shift at Riverside Inn. It was his third shift when he noticed something odd. At exactly 3:13 a.m., the system auto-logged a guest under the name S. Thorn into room 313. Again, no ID, no credit card, no check-in staff, just a name and an arrival time. Jordan had been trained to ignore system glitches, but curiosity got the better of him. He opened the physical key box. It had one blank tag unmarked, slightly older than the rest. It hung alone in the corner slot where key 313 should have been if that room existed. Out of impulse, Jordan took the key and went upstairs. No one else was around. Second floor, silent. Third floor, colder than usual. He passed room 311, then 312, and there it was. A door between 312 and the fire exit. No label, no peephole, just faded wood and chipped paint. He tried the key. It didn't fit. Then, as he turned to leave, the door clicked, unlocked itself. Jordan didn't open it, didn't touch it. He simply backed away quickly. When he returned to the front desk, the system had already marked the guest as checked out. The entire log entry vanished before his eyes. Room 313 returned to unavailable. The key was no longer in the box. Jordan never worked another night shift again. There was no check-in, no check-out, no proof. But for 5 seconds, Jordan knew the room had opened itself, and something, not someone, had been inside. Whatever had been inside it didn't leave. 1 week after the incident with Jordan, a young family checked into room 312. The Harpers, Dan, Melissa, and their 7-year-old son, Owen, were visiting for a family hiking trip. They had no idea what room 313 was, or what had happened just one door away. Their first night was uneventful, but on the second night, Owen said something strange during breakfast. "I don't like the boy in the vent." His parents laughed, assuming he was being imaginative. But that night, Owen refused to sleep. He pointed at the small metal vent near the corner of the room. "He whispers too much," he said. "He knows my name." Dan inspected the vent. It led to an old central system, shared with the sealed side of the hotel, the side where room 313 should be. At 2:40 a.m., Melissa was awakened by Owen's voice, except Owen was asleep. Still, she heard him softly talking, answering someone. She leaned closer to the vent and froze. It wasn't Owen's voice coming out. It was deeper, slower, and it said, "You shouldn't be here." The family checked out before sunrise. Owen didn't speak for 2 days, and when he finally did, all he said was, "He's still in there. No guest in room 313. No open records." But a child heard what no one else could, and whatever spoke to him knew exactly who he was. Whoever or whatever was inside room 313 didn't just know people. It remembered them. 3 months later, a man named Thomas Gallagher arrived at Riverside Inn. He looked tired, pale, a duffel bag on one shoulder. He claimed he had stayed at the hotel 10 years earlier, but no record of him existed. Not in the booking history. Not in the security archives, not even in credit card logs. Still, he insisted I stayed in room 313. The receptionist tried to explain, as always, that there was no room 313. Thomas didn't argue. He simply asked, "Is the room still active?" That night, Thomas never took a room, but cameras showed him walking down the third-floor hallway around 2:13 a.m. Then nothing. No exit, no front desk return, no footage of him ever leaving. But the next morning, staff found something near the fire exit. No footage of him ever leaving. Old, yellowing. It read, "I finally remembered what I left behind. Signed, TG." Later, when they reviewed the camera footage again, frame by frame, a strange thing appeared. At 3:13 a.m., the exact timestamp that haunted every report, a door that wasn't there the day before closed on its own. And a shadow tall, not fully human, passed across the wall. No one has seen Thomas Gallagher again. No friends or family ever claimed him. And yet, every November 3rd at exactly 3:13 a.m., room 313 briefly shows as occupied. There are rooms that hold people. Room 313 briefly shows as occupied. And it never forgets who walked through its door. But what happens when the room doesn't just remember, it responds? Room 313 had always been a silent mystery until the renovations began. The hotel had recently changed ownership. New management wanted to modernize everything, including removing the unused section of the third floor. Construction crews were brought in. Old walls were marked for demolition. Dust hung in the air, and the number 313 was painted over. That was Monday. By Wednesday, strange complaints started coming in from guests in nearby rooms. Heavy breathing through the walls, whispers, scratching noises inside the vents. Some claimed the wallpaper moved as if something underneath was shifting. Others swore they saw their reflections blink out of sync in the hallway mirrors. One guest tried to record the sounds overnight. The recording stopped at exactly 3:13 a.m. When they checked their phone, all that remained was static and a faint voice saying, "You erased me." Terrified, the hotel halted construction. But by then, the workers had already reported something else. Tools missing, power surges, and one man, Luis, went missing for 2 hours, found unconscious behind the wall they had just torn down. When he woke up, all he could say was, "The room is awake. You can seal a door, you can erase a number, but you can't silence what remembers, especially when it begins to breathe. And once something breathes, it begins to search." Riverside Inn shut down the third floor. They claimed it was for electrical repairs. But the staff knew better. They'd seen the hallway lights flicker for no reason. They'd heard footsteps on nights when no guests were checked in, and some had even seen a man standing at the end of the corridor, face obscured, clothes outdated, never moving, just watching. His name was never in any booking record. No ID, no arrival, no checkout. And yet, according to the system logs, room 313 had registered one active keycard scan at 3:13 a.m., exactly 1 week after the renovation was stopped. Security footage showed nothing, just the hallway still and silent, but the system didn't lie. Then came the night of the fire alarm. No smoke, no flames. Just every single fire detector on the third floor going off at once at 3:13 a.m. Guests were evacuated. But one woman traveling alone insisted something was wrong. She told police someone was outside my door. I could hear breathing. Not fast, not angry, just steady, like it was waiting. Her door had no hallway camera, but her voice recorder was running. The audio picked up one clear phrase: I was never invited, but I'm already inside. Some guests check in and never leave, but some never check in because they've always been there. Not every haunting comes from the past. Some come from what you tried to forget.